who led the Perth Wildcats to the 1990 NBL title, returns to the Westernites as an adversary.
Keep on running, keep on hiding.
Can Cal's Hobart Tassie Devils turn the tables on his former club? Or will the Wildcats outrun, outstar and outgun the boys from the Apple Isle? See for yourself as we present the NBL Mitsubishi Challenge.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Perth Entertainment Centre. Well, tonight Cal Bruton is back in town, and so too are the Perth Wildcats after 2 tough weeks on the road. With the playoffs looming, Perth are striking their best form at the right end of the season. They've won 5 out of their past 6 matches, but they must beat the Devils tonight to maintain that momentum. It's week 18 of the regular season. 4 games tipped off last night to start the round. Let's check the results then. And the Devils on the road to Perth played Adelaide last night. They lost by 16 points, effectively ending their playoff hopes. In the other matches, the Cannons defeated the Newcastle Falcons. That game went to overtime. In a surprise, Illawarra defeated championship fancies the North Melbourne Giants by 18 points, and Melbourne Magic stretched their winning sequence to 11, defeating the Supercats by a big margin. As for the top 8 now, Melbourne Magic head the table with a 17-2 record. As you can see, Perth in 6th spot. They split the season at 9-9, and Canberra and Gold Coast make up the top 8. Brisbane and Adelaide still a chance to make the playoffs, while Hobart have no hope, along with the Falcons and the Supercats. As for the all-time head-to-head record, that does favour Perth comfortably. With me is John Gardner. John, good signs with Perth starting to show form. I thought they played their best basketball last week against Brisbane.
Some very good signs, and if you take the form back through to the early start of the season, 4-8, disastrous start. Lost only 1 out of the last 6. That was a close one after a tough one in Newcastle on the road. Very good signs momentum-wise. They're back on track. They've got a lot to do, but they're certainly back on track.
What about Hobart? Cal Bruton plays his 250th game tonight, and David Close, a former Wildcat in the lineup as well.
Well, if you add to that Donald Whiteside comes back as well. But if we look at their season's averages, the points are very clear there. The field shooting percentages favour the Wildcats as they should. The rebounds certainly could be critical in this game, and all season the Wildcats have been the better rebounding side. The thing that the Wildcats have to look for is the turnovers.
In 3 words, John, can you make a case for Hobart?
Well, I think desperation is the only way they can get into this game. Some of these guys may be playing for their season, may be playing for contracts.
OK, thanks, John. Let's go courtside then for the announcement of tonight's starting 5s.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the starting 5s for tonight's games. First of all, for the Hobart Cascade Devils, number 6, Andrew Speldenis. Number 22, Joe Hurst. Number 25, Donald Whiteside. Number 34, Wayne McDaniel. And number 44, David Close. And the coach, Cal Bruton. And now, stand by. Starting 5 for your Perth Wildcats. Number 7, James Crawford. Number 13, Vince Hinchin. Number 15, Ricky Grace. Number 21, Andrew Vlahov. Number 40, Pete Hansen. And the coach, Murray Arnold.
So it's Murray Arnold up against Cal Bruton. In the head-to-head battle, Arnold has won all 3 matches he's coached against Cal Bruton. Let's check the complete lineups then, as we see the Perth lineup first of all. John, no Trevor Torrance, but they seem to have settled now on that starting 5.
It served them well in their last victory over Brisbane. Hinchin, Grace, Crawford, Vlahoff and Hansen. Down to the bench, Watterson, Ellis, Carroll, Davis through Longman.
And certainly a WA flavour about the Devils lineup.
Well, Whiteside played with the Goldfield Giants. David Close certainly made his mark here with 2 championships ring. Jumping Joe Hurst, McDaniels, Spaldinas, Case Frowing, Stiff Stewart and Cal Bruton playing in his 250th match.
We've got a bit of a problem with the hooter.
Well, Cal always came in with a bit of noise, and before this match started, we saw the Hobart Tassie Devils leading into a tough weekend, particularly with that game in Adelaide last night where they went down. Boy, it's certainly loud here right now. The technical people are working hard to pull the right lead. You'll know it when they do.
Amazing stuff then. The game held up momentarily with an electrical problem. That's been corrected now. That's the longest siren I've ever heard.
Somebody's hitting the wrong button.
The 2 referees tonight, Cliff Brett and Ray Hunt. An important game for Perth. They're 9-9 on the season. There's plenty of pressure for places in the top 8. And they wouldn't want to drop this game tonight.
No, I think that this match, the one next week against the Canberra Cannons, they need both of those, and then they need to split the road trip against either the South East Melbourne Magic or the North Melbourne club. And if they do that, they're in with a great chance of the playoffs and could finish, depending upon other people, as high as 4 or 5.
Vince Hinchinen's screen there. A great game against Brisbane last weekend, and James Crawford as well hit form, getting back to Hinchin. 28 points for the Wildcats against Brisbane, his best performance for the Wildcats.
Well, some super pointers out there last weekend for the Wildcats. One was Andrew Vlahoff. Certainly Vince Hinchin is now showing why he was recruited by the Wildcats to start this season, and looks like there's a further technical problem. Players are going back to their bench. There's some problem with setting the clock correctly, I should imagine. We've got a break here. It may take a little bit of time. Murray Arnold, Dave Hancock in picture. Everybody's tentative, including the equipment tonight.
Yeah, the game clock showing 11:59, so they've obviously got to wind that back 1 second, and perhaps that's taking time. Well, let's talk about Perth then. You mentioned in the opener, John, that at one stage they were 4-8 and looking down the barrel, but in the past 6 games they've turned things around, and they've had 2 very good road trips, winning 2 out of those 3 games on the road, and I think they would have been quite content with that.
Well, the only one that they did lose was to the Gold Coast. That was the night after a triple overtime match that they won over Newcastle, the first triple overtime match in the NBL's history. And they went on to be beaten by the Gold Coast. That's their only loss in the last 6. And of course, they're building momentum towards the playoff. And if you look at Andrew Vlahoff, if you take a line through his almost leadership quality that I believe he's showing in the last couple of games, and he got a triple-double last weekend, which is a double-figure statistic in 3 categories, and it was in scoring, rebounding and assists. That's a great sign for the Wildcats.
Yeah, first for the Wildcats and the first in the league this year. John, we've got a computer problem now, and this has obviously held up play. Our man sidelined tonight is Tim Gossage. As I mentioned, the Wildcats missing 1 player tonight, and that's Trevor Torrance. That's a belly blow in many respects, Tim, because Trevor was in very good form before the Olympic break. I think he was averaging 13 points a game, Tim, before that break, but he hasn't resumed, and tonight's his 4th game out. Let's go to Tim now, who's standing by with the man they call Double T.
Yes, Trevor Torrance with me, out of action tonight, Trevor, but you have trained during the week. How close are you to playing?
I trained pretty well yesterday. I just did sprints and it was sort of 70%. So, by Monday I hope to go a little bit further and maybe by Friday see how I go then. But
what's the general feeling with the boys in the room before tonight's game?
The guys are pumped. The guys are really ready to go. They played excellent last week and they've trained well all week with a lot of intensity, and I think that they're out to just go out there and play their game, and they're not worried about anything else or who they're playing, and just going to do their job, which is great.
What about the way the season's going? Are the Wildcats, after last week's win in Brisbane, are they back on a roll? Are they just as about at their top now?
No, I wouldn't say we're anywhere near at our top, but we're certainly getting there. We're playing with a lot more intensity, and the games sort of, training sessions are full on. So, we're definitely getting there.
Well, everyone's out of practice tonight, including the equipment, but you give me a prediction about tonight's result.
Oh no, predictions, I hate them. By more than 10.
Trevor Torrance predicts a 10-point or more victory for the Perth Wildcats. Peter, welcome back, and they tell me you've got to keep your doors locked on your car in Barcelona.
Yes, Tim, I'd reckon there's some well-dressed Spaniards walking around Barcelona at the present time, because I came back empty-handed but had a wonderful holiday in Europe. Thanks very much. And are you a computer whiz? You better go across to the bench and sort this problem out.
There's a lot of problems at the bench. No one really knows. It's all 1 second, but as you know, in basketball, anything can happen in that 1 second. And Pete, I must say, it's great to have you back, because I'm sick of answering your fan mail.
Yeah, I bet. Gosh, you haven't changed, and it is nice to be back. John, let's talk about this game then. Hobart basically playing for pride now. They were 7-9 before the Olympic break. They've lost 3 consecutive games since the resumption, and they've got no hope of making the playoffs. But Cal Bruton promised the Hobart franchise a winning season. He won't deliver that now.
Well, he can't now. His record with Hobart is 7-12, but he has certainly turned them around somewhat to what they were at the start. Rather dramatic situation occurred, I think, at about week 3 when he sacked 2 of his imports, Welch and McFadden, replaced them with Jumping Joe Hurst and Donald Whiteside. Whiteside we were familiar with. He's the guy in picture right now doing the layup. He played with the Goldfields Giants in the WA State Basketball League before he got the call to go to Hobart. And Jumping Joe Hurst, incidentally, is the second player reactivated by the Hobart franchise. They've had a long habit of sacking their imports. I don't think they've backed up in successive years with the same recruits. And Hurst was sacked in the season 1989, at the finish of that season, by Tom Maher, the current coach of the Waste Breakers in the women's national competition for Perth. And Hurst was the 1988 MVP of the National Basketball League, so he's got a second chance, and not many players get that opportunity. But they certainly are looking to turn pride as the cornerstone of their game tonight. And that guy in picture is Joe Hurst, the guy we were mentioning. He can really jump. And David Close is another player that audiences here would be very familiar with. Radar Close had 2 championship rings with the Perth Wildcats.
I sense the crowd getting slightly restless now. This delay is taking considerable time now. The game is already held up some 10 minutes. But let's get back to Cal Bruton, because it's his 250th game. He made the point in the press during the week that he never received a watch, a gold watch that was, from the Wildcats when he played his 200th game. I thought that you only got that when you made 35 years service at the West Rail.
Well, Cal Bruton's had a marvellous impact upon the game of basketball in this country, not only in this state and this town. Had a lot to do with the renaissance of basketball in WA when he came here in '87, recruited James Crawford and Tiny Pinter to the program, and I guess controversy has dogged him somewhat through his career. He was at one stage player coach, and then coach, and then coach and general manager. He's back in town at the ripe old age of 37, and a very fit 37-year-old. I remember him coming out to play in the NBL in 1979, and he's been an adornment to the courts of many, many games throughout this land, certainly in the twilight of his career, and had a very difficult year at Hobart.
Yes, well done to Cal Bruton, who turns 38 next month. Perhaps we're getting some action there. I just heard the hooter as Murray Arnold and Dave Hancock wait patiently. Let's talk about the Wildcats and their turnaround, John, after that disastrous start. What's been the key to the Cats getting back into playoff contention firstly, and now into championship contention?
Well, they've changed some of their prerequisites. They won the title last year with a power game inside. In latter weeks, they've gone to a running game, and that's certainly ably suited the personnel they have. But I think the biggest key is the fact that they're healthy. Vince Henson is emerging, scoring 28 last week against Brisbane. His health and the health of other players, Hanson has certainly been freed of a back injury, and I think also the emergence of Andrew Vlahoff as not only a player but a leader. And we made mention earlier about his ability to come out and realise his potential. He's free of Olympic and international commitments and travelling to the east to train with the Australian team. I think that he's going to have a very big effect upon the Wildcats' playoff aspiration. But they're a closer unit too.
What about Vlahoff since the Olympic break? He seems to have come back as confident as ever. I made the point during the Giants game on this court early this year. I said it was Jordan-like the way Vlahoff played in that first half. A lot of people scoffed at what I suggested then. But that Olympic break has, I think, done something for Andrew Vlahoff. His figures, John, in the past 3 games, 78 points, 40 rebounds and 24 assists. He's been controlling the game of basketball.
Yeah. I think the other thing you've got to keep in mind is that players, when they come back, from a tournament such as the Olympics. They either foul out in the first quarter because they're working at such a great rate, or they've learnt the lessons of maturity through playing against bigger, stronger players, and I think that's what Andrew's certainly done.
Complete player, isn't he?
Well, I don't think he's complete yet, but he's now showing through the figures he's posting that he has the potential to be one of the best players, if not one of the better players produced in this country. He has a rounded aspect to his game that very few people have.
And that's some of the entertainment to keep the crowd happy. We're inside a minute now before getting this game underway. They've corrected the time clock. We might better get the camera up there as well. They've just now got to correct the score. If that is the score at the end of the game, John, it's going to be a great game because they've got Hobart up there 93 to the Wildcats 92.
Well, do you think that's it? We're finished? We're out of here or what?
Maybe Nostradamus put that up there. Now, what have we got here? A balancing act here with the local Lion, the local Wildcat.
Well, this is an unusual situation, of course, but it happens. The game is serviced by technical aspects such as computers, and the technical aspects of the game are demanding that everything is right before they start it. That man in picture, that cat in picture, representing the West Track sponsorship, is certainly determined to stand up there and get across the railing. But we're back to centre court now. The game's ready for commencement. Ray Hunt, very experienced referee, brings the ball out to centre court. He's ready to get us underway.
A big smile on his face. They've still yet to correct that scoreboard, though. It still shows Hobart 93, the Wildcats 92. But the players are coming out in preparation to start this game, which is running now 15 minutes late. A computer malfunction after the hooter failed to stop. The scoreboard's correct. We're underway now. As we mentioned, Cliff Brett, Ray Hunt, the commentators. Long last. There's the opening tip, and the Wildcats get first use of the ball. Vlahoff, as we said, has dominated the past 3 games. This is Grace. Low post, Crawford. Nice move back to open the scoring.
An ominous sign there. Joe Hurst just couldn't match up with James Crawford. They isolated Crawford, and Hurst couldn't contain him. But McDaniels is out there with plenty of freedom. He goes baseline. Hansen comes up with a block, and Hinch is looking for the fast break and finds Vlahoff, who misses the shot.
Well short that by Vlahoff, and Whiteside, who was recruited from the Goldfield Giants, puts up the long shot. It didn't go, snapped away by Grace, but it comes back Whiteside's way. He's given it to McDaniel, one of the leading scorers in the history of the league. Couldn't get that to go, and Crawford, the rebound, sends Hinchin away. Fresh from a 28-point effort against the Bullets last week. Bounce pass off the foot of McDaniel, and the Cats will get it back from the side.
Both clubs matching up with man-to-man defence at the moment. Hurst is on Crawford, McDaniels is on Hansen, Whiteside has been given the job on Grace, Close is on Hinchin, and that leaves Valdinas with the big job against Andrew Vlahoff.
Good defence then by Whiteside, blocking Grace's path to the basket.
Very quick player. Donald Whiteside tried out with the Hobart Tassie Devils prior to the season starting. Really didn't get a look in there. Came across and played in the West in the State Basketball League. Then answered the second call to play in the NBL. Very quick, very elusive, as we saw there, with very quick hands. But Hurst gets the rebounds and he's out to Whiteside.
The basketball's a funny game. Vlahoff, none for 2. The Devils with the ball. They trailed by 2. Close. Long shot put up by Hurst, and that was for 3.
Great shot by Hurst. He averaged 30 points, 88, 89. Is certainly not up to that productivity at the moment. Barely getting 7 points, but there's a good start to beat his average.
Devils up by 1 early going, first term. Grace passes to Hinchin, who missed everything. McDaniel sends Whiteside away at the other end. Close, kicks it back out to Whiteside. Thought about the shot. Grace in his face. And as John mentioned, he's lightning quick, couldn't get the roll, but he gets his own ball back. Whiteside
is a good perimeter shooter, far better than what people give him credit for. Grace will have to watch him out there, and obviously they haven't seen a lot of Whiteside. Both teams a little tentative. I think you can put that down to the tentative start of the game.
Close. Fake pump around Hinchin, throws up the shot. In fact, he went for the pass baseline. Valdinas draws the foul.
Had a great year, Andrews Valdinas. Played with the Sydney Kings in most of his, actually all of his NBL career. Since going to Hobart, has refound his enthusiasm, makes the pump fake, goes up. Hansen's pinged there for reaching in with the left arm. The player on defence is entitled to that cylinder of space above his own body. Can't reach in, and take the cylinder and make the contact above the offensive player as he did then. That's the first foul for the Wildcats, the first for Hansen, and we've got a scoreline 3-2 favouring the Hobart Devils.
The average is 74% from the line, walks away 1 from 2, and it's the Devils up by 2. 4-2, 9:50 left on the clock in the first term. Week 18 of the National Basketball League.
Interesting little extended defence out there, and some very good individual matchups that we'll want to watch throughout the progress of this game, particularly with Whiteside on Grace. There's two great athletes out there. Hinchin now.
Turning jumper against close, didn't go. The Wildcats shooting just 20% at the present time. 1 from 5. Whiteside has the balls. Valdenis sets the screen. That was for 3.
Just pinged around the screen for the pick and roll, and if he gets his eye in, he'll be dangerous because he can penetrate as well. When a player of that stature can not only shoot from beyond that three-point arc, as well as going inside, that makes them very dangerous. And here's Whiteside again on the fast break. Crawford, Hinchin it is, intimidated, but not enough as Whiteside went underneath. Reverse layup off the glass makes it 9-2 in favour of Hobart.
So an early 7-point spread Hobart's way. They've had trouble winning games on the road this year, John. For tonight, 1-7 off the foot of Hansen. How do they see that? Looks like a cat's ball from the side.
There's a reset for the 30-second clock as well because of the violation with the foot. So the Cats have got another full 30-second clock to get the shot up. What will they do? Go early or structure the offense?
This is Vlahoff. Can't get his first points for the night. He's none from 3.
Daniel's down. Looks like a twisted ankle. Let's see how he moves when he gets up. Daniel's catching up with it now. A little tentative, obviously. He came down heavily. Could have come down there on the foot of one of the Wildcats players.
Whiteside does Valdenis at the top. This is close. He loves to shoot from outside. Knows this court very well. Well mopped up by Valdenis.
It's a great move by Valdenis. As a matter of fact, the Hobart team have 8 rebounds to the Wildcats 1. And you wouldn't have picked that in the stats before the game, but you'd certainly pick that move. Ricky Grace, that's his calling card. Left-hand drive all the way down. Takes the layup for 2. Foul signaled by Ray Hunt. You can see him going through. There's the foul across the wrist. He'll go for the bonus. Chance to bring up the Wildcats' second scoring phase of the game.
In very good form last week against Brisbane, John. 27 points. Taken a while to recover from that ankle operation during the Olympic break. But if he's to hit his straps in the run to the playoffs, could make the big difference in terms of a championship for the Wildcats.
Well, there's no doubt that his influence in the back court is imperative to their their third effort, I should say, for a championship. But he's got his work cut out here tonight with a very slippery customer in Donald Whiteside.
McDaniel working against Crawford, and it's called against Crawford.
That's Crawford's first. 1 for McDaniel for Hobart, 1 for Crawford and 1 for Hansen for the Wildcats. Scoreline 11 in favour of Hobart, 5 to the Wildcats. That will send a shooting foul in favour of McDaniels to the line. 8 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Wayne McDaniels played with the Hobart club for the last 3 years, played with Newcastle before that.
Yes, he's a well-travelled ball player, isn't he? I think Geelong and Adelaide he's stripped 4-2, so he's been around the place. One of the all-time leading scorers in the league. I think he's 5th overall, John, which is testimony to how he stood the test of time.
There's a good lead pass there finding Crawford. They've got the numbers. Vlahoff at the top. Spaldinas comes out and takes away the outside shot. Good defence there by Andrew Spaldinas. Hinchin out the top. Cross to Grace. Grace puts it to the floor, comes off the glass for another 2. They've got to take that left hand away from Ricky Grace. He just loves to go left.
Grace has 5 of the Wildcats, 7 points. They trailed by 5. It's the Devils up 12-7, as you can see. This is Joe Hurst working against Vlahoff. No good. Valdenis battling hard. It's a call against the Cats in there.
Well, they made the mistake of allowing Spaldinas to get the rebound, and of course what had happened is that Hansen went over to help out on the drive as Hurst went baseline. There's the contact. Well, that's a tough situation with 3 people around there. Either got to be a jump ball early, otherwise you've got to expect that contact and let it run.
Hurst inbounds to close. Low post, Valdenis kicks it back out to the top, and Whiteside. McDaniel against Crawford, plenty of time, and tipped in by Hurst.
Good move by Hurst. He's got 3 twice underneath. They've got a block jumping Joe out. 14-7. That's a great start by the Devils. They'd be happy with that. Wildcats not so happy.
Grace. Hanson looks to set the screen. Grace drives the keyway, puts up the shot, doesn't get the roll. And the Devils raffle it. Valdenis out to Whiteside. Perth down by 7. We've just got over 6.5 minutes left in the opening quarter, and they're given the Wildcats something to think about early on. This is Whiteside, and a nice jumper that.
Donald Whiteside, thank you very much. That's 7 points for him. He's shooting well, 3 from 7, 60%.
Hinchin from baseline, couldn't get it to go. Crawford with the offensive rebound, and he gets his opening bucket tonight. In fact, he's on the board already, and the Wildcats trailing by 7 now.
Well, 6.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. We've got a substitution being reported in now as Mike Ellis for the Wildcats. He'll be out there to inject a little more intensity to the Wildcats game, because they've certainly been very laid back.
Whiteside, who has 7, lets fly from long range, no good, and Crawford working hard at the other end now, sends Grace away. Grace, the big pass to Hinchin, shot no good, but he gets the call.
A late call. Ray Hunt was in the position to see it. David Close comes up with his first foul for the game. It'll be a shooting foul. Let's see if we can pick it up for you. There's the contact on the hand. Hanson sits down. He's got 2 fouls, of course, and we've got our first timeout for the game, called by Cal Bruton. Scoreline 16 to Hobart, 9 to the Wildcats, 6 minutes to go.
As teams jostle for a position in the final 6, it's a vital match for the West Coast Eagles and Carlton. See the action live from Subiaco Oval, 12 o'clock Sunday.
No one's here just for the ride. There's a job to do, and we do it with pride.
West Australian owned and operated, Westrac believes in building the future prosperity of this great state, and it shows in its dedication to building future careers for its young people.
West Australians far and wide can build tomorrow side by side.
Westrac's ongoing investment in apprenticeship training is second to none. Westrac.
Beef farmers, are you getting the maximum return for your cattle? Recent studies have shown that direct selling provides the greatest return to you. So consider all options. And remember, we don't charge commissions. That means more money in your pocket. E.G. Green & Sons of Harvey are renowned as buyers and processors of quality beef and yearlings. So for top cattle prices and maximum returns, call E.G. Green & Sons of Harvey on 008 017 015.
So as the Devils up by 7, then 16 to 9, we've got Vince Hinchin. To go to the foul line, Hinchin had his best game for the season last weekend against Brisbane, shooting 28 points, 65% from the field, and that's the sort of athleticism that the Wildcats recruited Hinchin for.
Sure, and that's what was missing in the early part of the season. Hinchin struggled. We did make note of, and I don't think you can underestimate the fact that the Wildcats have not been a healthy team up until now. They've had a horrendous run of injuries, but that's what happens in the game. They've got to fight their way through that. They seem to have done that. If they can maintain this build-up of momentum, I think that they're going to put the question to many, many clubs above them in the league, and certainly what they have to do to maintain that is beat teams beneath them, and that's what they're not doing here tonight. But they're building slightly on that gap, 16 to 11 now in favour of Hobart.
5-point spread the Devils' way. This is Whiteside causing problems for Perth. Close gets it back out to McDaniel. McDaniel working against Vlahoff. Jumper can't go. Rebound taken by Hurst. And Vlahoff owns up to the foul.
Vlahoff's first foul. Hurst has caused them some trouble on the offensive boards. See if we can pick it up now. Hurst has got it. You can see him leading in, reaching in and getting that situation. Joe Hurst doing a great job for Hobart. 4 rebounds so far.
Close back on his court where he won 2 championship rings. McDaniel again against Crawford. They double team McDaniel, left Whiteside open. His 3-point attempt no good. Valdenis to the top. McDaniel from the foul line. Missed everything except the backboard. Away comes Crawford on the dribble. Finds the handle on it eventually. This is Vlahoff. Vlahoff looking to go all the way. No, kicks it out to Hinchin. Hinchin looks to get it off the glass. Vlahoff battling hard. Strong rebound that. Well played, Andrew Vlahoff.
Well, We keep on looking for superlatives for Vlahoff. That's the sort of inspirational stuff that he can come up with. Not just the points, not just the rebounds, not just anything, but the second effort. You can see the second, third effort here and the determination to come up with the extra bucket. He won't be given the reward of the bucket. It'll go to the side, but it's certainly the sort of thing that the Wildcats are looking for from Andrew Vlahoff.
Hinchen at the top. Ellis, the skipper, on nice and early tonight. That's good to see. Crawford low post against McDaniel. No good. Vlahoff again working hard. Can't win the ball. And close sends Whiteside away. We've got 5 minutes left in the opening quarter. Perth trail by 5. The Wildcats on this court this year are 4-4. By their own standards, not a good record. Whiteside, the bounce pass to McDaniel. Keeps it alive. Back to Whiteside. Val Dennis against Vlahoff. Some muscle there.
That'll be the second foul for Andrew Vlahoff, and if we look at the earlier foul on Hansen, that's 2 for Vlahoff, 2 for Hansen. That's not a good sign in the first quarter. 2 of their better rebounders. Valdenis gets the ball and goes through. Vlahoff's ping for reaching in. Bonus coming up.
202 NBL games for Andrews Valdenis. Gets the bonus, and it's Hobart up by 8 now, 19-11. 4:40 left in the opening quarter, and I guess some early problems for Perth.
Well, a little anxiety, I guess, but the point is that they are not scoring well, and the biggest problem they've got, of course, at the other end, that Hobart are doing a much, much better job than they. Vlahoff's down. There's an injured ankle with Vlahoff. A twist, he's up, grimacing at the other end. McDaniels makes them pay the price. Vlahoff shrugs it off. The bench looks anxious. 21-11. 4 minutes before quarter time. Whiteside on Grace.
So a double figure spread then, Devils' way. The Wildcats shooting just 29% from the field. Here's Grace looking to turn it around. In and then out. Gets his own rebound. But it's Val Dennis who kept it alive. For the Cats, another trip down court without scoring. Down by 10. Whiteside with 7. Hurst has 5 and Val Dennis 6. This is McDaniel over Crawford. And how do they see that against Crawford?
That'll be a hand foul. Crawford claiming that he didn't reach in. He reached in. He may well have got the ball, but he also got the hand. Cal Bruton in the background watching closely. Ray Hunt signalling to the bench. Let's see if we can pick it up for you. McDaniel's the good spin move. There's the foul there. Not only he got the ball, which was quite right, but he reached down on the forearm, and that's not part of the ball. McDaniels goes to the foul line. That's the 6th team foul for the Wildcats.
He's somewhat of a scoring machine, John. In 4 of the seasons that he's played in the league, he's averaged better than 30 points a game in a season. So that's terrific scoring, isn't it?
Has the ability to post up against somebody like James Crawford. Also has the ability to score well from around about 15 feet, the distance of the foul line out from the baseline. Very dangerous customer and very experienced.
So this lead out to 12 now. Hobart 23, the Wildcats 11. 3.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. Ellis, what can he do to Hinchen? The Cats have Hansen back out there now. This is Crawford in the face of McDaniel. Where will he go? Over McDaniel. Jumper was well short.
Well, not a good shot. Nobody on the boards. Lucky to come away with the ball. Wildcats certainly not free-flowing in their game. Would be a bit concerned about this. Just demonstrates how difficult this league is. You can't come together and not be ready to play. You've got to come into this league and be ready to play every night against every team.
Hansen in his 50th game for the Cats. Ellis driving baseline, and the skipper looking to turn it around.
Good sign from Mike Ellis last week. Played 15 minutes against Brisbane. Came up with about 7 points and a couple of assists. There's a good answer from McDaniels. About the range we talked of early, 15, 16 feet. You can't give him that freedom.
McDaniel with 7. Devils, as you can see, lead by 12. Inside 3 minutes left. First quarter. Whiteside and Grace. Ellis, who shot 60% from the field against the Bullets last week. Just 8 points, but it was a big effort in terms of confidence boosting. Hansen bumping in the key way, and I think Frolling will come up with that foul.
Shane Frolling comes up with a foul. Pete Hansen, you can see the signal. Foul is on 11. Possession that way. And the Wildcats come up with a side ball by virtue of the fact that it's only the 4th team foul against the Hobart Tassie Devils. And they've done an excellent job, David. They've kept one of the better teams in the league down to 13 points.
2.5 minutes left. The first quarter, Hansen spinning against Froling, looking to take it all the way. Big reject by Hurst. And what's the call in there, John?
Got another foul coming up. Hurst with the hand foul. That'll be the 5th against Hobart, and that should send them to the line.
His 50th game, and he's got some special people in the audience.
Yeah, his mum and dad are over here at the moment to watch him play in his 50th game.
And we've got a timeout now with 2.5 minutes left in the opening quarter. The Wildcats down by 12.
Wake up to what's happening to your world with the latest financial markets. It's Business Sunday at 7. Then Public Affairs with Sunday at 8 on GWM.
Toyota strong, Toyota proud, Toyota at its best.
At Narrogin Toyota, you'll get a great deal on a full range of Toyota sedans, commercials and four-wheel drives. Great backup from a sophisticated service division, plus a wide range of genuine Toyota parts. Narrogin Toyota, service, strength and reliability right here in the heart of the Great Southern.
Toyota strong, Toyota proud, Toyota at its best.
Flexible and functional. West Coast Aluminium will supply and install all your aluminium and glass requirements. Our service and skills are made to measure, transforming the ordinary into something special. For extensions, alterations and renovations, we offer design advice and planning to meet your specifications. We are a locally based company whose work, both residential and commercial, is proven throughout the Southwest. Call our friendly professional team at West Coast Aluminium, Bunbury.
25-13 the scoreline. Cal Bruton called that timeout. No doubt Murray Arnold had plenty to say. Tim Gossage is roving the sidelines for us tonight. Tim, what was the message?
Well, the message from Cal Bruton was he called that timeout basically to give his players a rest. He's most impressed with their first 9.5 minutes. He said it's a handy lead. He said it's important. If you're going to put anyone to the foul line, Pete Hansen. But he said he's very impressed by this start. He said he wants to keep up the intensity.
I'm not so sure about that. Hansen shooting nearly 70% from the line this year. That's an improved facet of his game from last year, Hansen. He's made that one of his strengths. Well, not quite a strength, but certainly an improvement.
Don't put the mocker on him yet, Peter. But he certainly has improved. McDaniels, another one for Big Mac.
Going
9
well,
points.
isn't he?
Yep. He's scoring very well. And there's a good point scoring spread for Hobart. Valdenis has 6, Hurst has 5, Whiteside 7, McDaniels 9.
Grace stripped of the ball on the keyway. Whiteside, is it? Or McDaniel? Yeah, Whiteside.
Everybody said, who, me? No, I didn't do it, ref, not me. Whiteside's come up with it. 25, reaching in, made contact with the hand. That'll send Ricky Grace to the foul line, and we've got a substitution. James Crawford sits down. Steve Davis comes in now. Early time now for Steve Davis in this game. He's one of the players that also can have a big influence upon the outcome of the Wildcats campaign.
Grace from the line comes up short on his first shot. He's shooting 73% from the line this year. 27 points last weekend against Brisbane. Has had a very interrupted season. Gets the second, and the spread 11 now. Hobart 27, the Wildcats 16. We've got just over 2 minutes left in the opening quarter. Whiteside against Grace, Froling to Cass, the league's Rookie of the Year in 1990. Back to Cass, to the top, and Hurst. Nice move around Davis, who's on nice and early tonight. Whiteside somehow went looking for McDaniel in there, and they forced the turnover.
Hurst could have picked that ball up, thought it was off a Wildcat hand. That's not the way Ray Hunt saw it. Wildcats get an opportunity with just under 2 minutes now to try and chip away at this very impressive lead that Hobart have assembled. That's not going to do it for them. Steve Davis almost thought he had it twice, but Whiteside comes up with it on the break.
Whiteside pulls up. Grace applying the defence. McDaniel, low post to Froling through the traffic. He draws the foul. It's against Hansen. Is that his third?
That's his third early foul. That's going to hurt the Wildcats. Of course, they're allowed 6 personal fouls. That's a hand foul reaching in. The penetrating drives are hurting the Wildcats. You see the drive going around. Hansen reaching across. It's Ping for his third. He'll sit down. Subs are made with Blahoff coming back in, and the last thing the Wildcats would want is Blahoff to pick one up. That would give him 3 as well.
The Cats have Davis, Grace, Blahoff and Hinchin and Ellis out there. Froling on the line. The Devils 5, Cass, McDaniel, Whiteside, who's played unchanged in this opening quarter, and Val Dennis. Now Shane Froling, John, shoots 65% from the line, averages 7 points a game. He was only one of 3 players that survived the cut from last year's roster.
Certainly a role player, Shane Froling, a product of the Eastside Melbourne and underwating program, who has been a very, very high, almost an overachiever in this league.
13-point spread. Cats down. Blahoff stripped of the ball, and it's a Devils ball from the side, so things aren't going Perth's way.
Blahoff playing for the foul that didn't come off. They're still trailing.
It's Val Dennis to Froling. Little eye fake against Blahoff. Now he makes the drive, and a good move to get the bucket.
Interesting move. Froling's going to drive every time he gets the ball here. Certainly if Blahoff's playing defence, they want Blahoff, they want Hansen to foul early, and that's exactly why Froling is driving so effectively.
So 15 points, John. Now, obviously, that's got to be of some concern.
Well, the concern is that the Wildcats have only scored 16, and we've got an offensive foul against Grace. Well, the things aren't going their way. They're in front of a sellout crowd. They've regained the momentum. Arnold looks composed. A little anxiety creeping in, though. Well, you certainly could see that Cass had position. Grace had nowhere to go. Grace lowered the shoulder, and Cass took the charge and came up with the reward.
So Whiteside then brings it down. The Cats will get the ball back, or they should get the ball back. We've got over 30 seconds. The shot clock down to 20 now. Cass against Ellis. He's got the height advantage. Goes baseline. Val Dennis. Blahoff looking to hold his ground. Davis sucks in the rebound. So Perth with what should be the last play of the quarter. We've got 16 seconds left. Grace, knowing the situation, looking just to milk the clock a fraction. Perth need a bucket here to bring it back to 13 before the break. There's 6 seconds left. The crowd counting down. Blahoff the turning jumper, no good. McDaniel brings the ball in, and that should wrap it up. So quarter time then, a very good quarter to the Devils. They lead big, 31-16, a 15-point spread at the first change.
In the hot August nights,
It's gonna be so good.
he was bewitched by her sensuality.
Carolyn Polhemus was murdered last night. It looks like she was raped.
He was in charge of the case.
There were 150 lawyers down there. They couldn't find one who didn't sleep with her.
He was presumed innocent.
You killed her.
Now he's the prime suspect.
You will go to trial.
Harrison Ford of Patriot Games.
How can you think that I could do a thing like that?
Greta Skanky and Brian Dennehy, presumed innocent, 8:35 Monday.
Your local CRT bloke sells and recommends Roundup CT. Here's why.
Roundup treated sheep cut an extra half a kilo of wool, which in 6 months is quite significant. I consider that for $20 a hectare profit, there's no greater investment on my farm than spray topping with Roundup CT.
Get your Roundup CT from a local bloke near you.
CRT, with over 300 others, he's your friendly local bloke.
Your local bloke from CRT.
Australians have always known there's nothing tougher than hard yakka. Hard yakka.
There's one undoubted winner in the tyre game. They've got the power. Tyre Power buying power. And they're thrashing the opposition on new tyre prices. Tyre Power have slammed down prices on brand new imported radials to just $49. And Century batteries are way down in price. Their winning plays the opposition just can't match. If you want imported radials at $49, get on the fast break to your nearest Tyre Power store now. Tyre Power, that's powerful stuff.
Save on these sensational Medallia Steel Field Day specials, like medium galvanized pipe 40% off, rock bottom prices on Lysart purlins, big saving on second-hand pipe, Lysart downgrade zinc aluminum 38% off, huge savings on self-drilling fasteners, all 40% off, drag chains, transport chains and load binders, all 25% off, 45-pound used railway line going out for just $55 a length. Save on steel with Medallia Steel, all specials available at all 6 branches and at the field days.
What you gonna do, what you gonna do? Yeah. What you gonna do, what you gonna do? Woo. What you gonna do, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when you win lotto? Oh, oh. What you gonna do with your lotto life? Oh, oh. What you gonna do when you win lotto? Oh, gonna do? Oh, 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 for the lotto life.
And back at the Perth Entertainment Centre for the start of the second quarter. What a good start by the Wildcats, down by 15, 31-16. They've got some work to do. Tim Gossage was in the quarter-time huddle where Murray Arnold spoke to his players. How are they going to get back in this game, Tim?
Well, it's one step at a time, said Murray Arnold. He said there's no need to panic. There's still 3 very long quarters to go, and he's confident they can. Cal Bruton wants his Devils to continue to control the tempo, and he said that Whiteside was doing a great job on Ricky Grace, and they are very confident, Pete.
John, what's been the reason for Hobart's start?
Their defence and their dominance on the boards. They've been able to make sure they're not intimidated by the power game of the Wildcats, and the Wildcats haven't had their running game all their own way. The shooting percentage of the Wildcats has been abysmal at 30%, and the Hobart Tassie Devils are doing it their way right now.
Froling gets the bucket. That was for 2. Earlier on we saw Vlahoff open his scoring. It's taken over a quarter, and it's still a 15-point spread. Watterson is on now. This is Vlahoff against Val Dennis. Some big bodies there. Hinchin, back low post. Hinchin left open, fires for 3, and he was bundled down by Froling.
Well, Ray Hunt was right on the spot. Shane Froling comes up with got a 3. Let's see, was he beyond that 3-point line? So he gets 3. By virtue of the fact that he was fouled when shooting a 3-pointer, he gets 3 shots here to equal what he could have got if he hadn't have been fouled.
Now Vince Hinchin from the line, John, shot 80% this year. He's a very good shooter from the free-throw line.
Nice action, nice smooth action. See from this front-on shot, takes it, pulls the ball back, yep, flows through.
Mind you, he had a lot of practice. I mean, in the off-season, that's all he could do because of the back operation.
But it's imperative that a shooter and an athlete like Hinchin can punish people that foul him. Otherwise, they just keep on doing it.
Well, he gets all 3. That's a big play. The Cats now trailed by 12. Froling over Crawford.
It's an offensive foul.
A charge against Froling. Basket doesn't count.
Well, good position there from Crawford. Froling has played well either side of the break. Came down a little rush of blood. You can see it on the overhead shot here. Crawford's got good position. Froling pulls up, but the momentum takes him forward. And the offensive player can certainly go forward, but if there's a player there before him, he's going to get pinged as Shane Froling did. Watterson under attention now from Cass. This is a good matchup now. Crawford with McDaniels. Crawford fakes, pulls it back. Inside, Ricky Grace. That'll be a foul on Cass. It's a soft foul, but it was a foul. Ray Hunt laterally was in a great position to call it.
So the Devils still up by 14 then, 35-21. But we've got Grace at the line.
You can see that contact on the body. Grace on the line now. Ricky Grace, been quiet, only has 6 points for the match. That one's good. 3 from 4 from the foul line. 75% for Ricky Grace. One of the better foul shooters in a team that's averaging 72% from the foul line. Ricky Grace shoots well.
Back to a 12-point spread then. Bounce pass inside the McDaniel triple team. Tries to get it off the glass. Working hard. Val Dennis stripped with the ball. Second effort. Val Dennis very strong indeed.
You have to admire his effort. 8 points. Most of them have come from second and third efforts. Has 7 rebounds out of a total of 18 for Hobart. Doing a manful job. Matching up at the other end against Andrew Vlahoff.
Here's Crawford bumping McDaniel, and it's a block against McDaniel.
It's a tough situation for McDaniels. Once he gave up that baseline situation to Crawford, he was always at risk as both players were moving.
10:25 left in the second quarter. I sense a little bit more urgency about the Cats' work now, John.
McDaniel's second foul. He's replaced by Joe Hurst. They need to be urgent at this stage. There's the second situation where they've given up the baseline to Crawford. It's a tenet of the game. You can't give up the baseline. Last 2 plays, that's exactly what they've got James Crawford. He come up with a foul on the first situation. Now he gets the point, and he also gets the bonus. There's a two-hander. Now, that's exactly what we were trying to demonstrate. Hurst is at risk right here. No matter what Crawford does, Hurst is going to come up with a foul.
Gets the bonus, so another 3-point play for Perth. And they bring it back to 11 now, 37-26. Just over 10 minutes left in the half. Whiteside, oh, good steal that by Blahoff. Looking to go all the way against the diminutive Whiteside, and he draws the foul. Didn't get the bucket though.
Whiteside's second foul, and of course that's the best that Whiteside can do to make sure that Blahoff doesn't make a 3-point situation out of it. The most he can make is a 1 or a 2. Blahoff probably would have been better served giving that ball up a little earlier to Henson on the fast break, or Grace it is on the fast break. Great shot there from the overhead cam coming out. Blahoff continued through. He wanted the 3-point play. Different situation in this situation here, Peter, to the start of the game where Hobart now are fouling. That's their 6th team foul, and the Wildcats haven't had a foul since quarter time.
So they'll pay the price for that for the remainder of the second quarter. Blahoff now moves to 4, and the Cats have got it back to a single figure now. They trail by 9, 37-28. Now Dennis has the ball, close back on.
Stewart replaces Whiteside. Whiteside takes his first rest. Crawford with a strong rebound. Good outlet to Grace. Grace goes every which way, pushes it over the top. Certainly on his home rings, gets the friendly roll for a 2-pointer. And we've got a scoreline now of 37 to Hobart, 30 to the Wildcats, and it's a 7-point margin with just under 10 minutes before half-time. Field shooting percentage still favouring the Devils. Wildcats building a little bit, but they want to do a lot better than that.
The Cats have reeled in a 16-point deficit, brought it back to 7. Froling shot was in and out, and Grace is away now. So Perth up the tempo. The dish to Crawford, baseline, great jumper back.
That assist was on from the time Grace got the outlet pass. He had eye contact with Crawford, favoured Grace's left hand to find Crawford on the right-hand side, and Crawford certainly did what he had to do. And it's 32-37 now with the Wildcats coming back, as they must come back before half-time.
Val Dennis tried to bank it off the glass, no good. Blahoff lost the handle on it, got it back again. And how do they see that against Stewart, is it?
Well, it's against Stewart. That's a tough situation. Cal Bruton stepped off the bench, certainly displaying through his very presence on the sideline that he's not happy with that. Stewart's reaching in. I think they're remonstrating against the strength of Blahoff there, but the foul was called before that contact between Blahoff and Stewart. So the situation now with Blahoff will go the 90-odd feet, foul line to take the situation into a one-on-one by virtue of the 7th team foul for Hobart. Wildcats still haven't come up with a foul since quarter time.
Doesn't take long to turn it around, John, does it?
Well, some of the fans out there often talk to us about how quickly the league changes. It's one of the fastest team sports in the world, and part of its attraction is its scoring rate. You know, you've got about 30 metres of court there. It doesn't take long to travel that court, a matter of seconds. And if a team misses and at the other end their opponents get it, that could be a 4-point turnaround and the gap bridged very quickly.
A 3-point spread now. The crowd well and truly involved in this game. Stewart in the face of Watterson. Where will he go? One way then the other. Little bounce past as Val Dennis. Stewart left open. Watterson, no call in there. This is Hurst, runs into a brick wall in the form of Blahoff, and that's great defence. And another foul called in there.
And that's the difference between the two quarters. Hurst had nowhere to go, was surrounded, triple teamed at one stage, lost possession, good defence by Blahoff, and then Hurst in frustration, as often happens, reached in as he's doing there to try and regain the ball that he lost. And Blahoff once more repeats the dose.
Well, they've got back in this game from the foul line. They're 16 from 17, shooting 94%. As Cal Bruton makes his first appearance tonight, gets a rousing reception, one of Perth basketball's favourite sons.
He deserves the applaud of the crowd. Bruton just into his, well, certainly into his 38th year, and a short distance away from his 38th birthday. This man has come back to play and put his body through the rigours of necessity to play at this league, playing a steadying role, which I think he can do in this team.
So the Cats get it back to within 1 point. We've still got 8.5 minutes left in the second quarter. A remarkable turnaround in a very short space of time. It's 37-36. And the Devils need a couple of buckets. Bruton sensing that. McDaniel Dennis calling for the ball. Low post off the ball. What have we got?
An offensive foul on Bruton. Bruton's gone through and he's hit a good pick. A good pick. Hinchin's forced his way through. I think Bruton has every right to feel a little bit hard done by. He's following Ray Hunt down. It's his right to question it. You can see the contact there. He's been pinged for hanging on with the arm contact. He can make the body contact, but he can't hang on as Hinchin tried to get through. I got to admit that Hinchin didn't really try to go around too much, but that's the way the referee saw it.
Grace working against Bruton. And another cheap foul again called against Bruton.
Well, that's the second one, and that becomes the 9th team foul. 9 to zip. 10, that is, I'm sorry. That's Cal Bruton's second foul. He's reaching. He really has done the right thing there. He's taken Grace's left hand away from him. Grace has gone right and had a little bit too many quicks for Bruton, and he's fouled, and that puts Grace on the foul line. And really, with that foul shot, the game's all tied up, and we've got 8 minutes, 12 seconds before half-time. And I guess you'd say that the Wildcat coaching staff are a little relieved right now.
Oh, yes, an amazing turnaround. They've hit the front of that drops. It doesn't, so it's tied up at 37 apiece. John, the Cats are shooting 90% from the line. They've got 19 of their 37 points from the foul line.
Well, I think the anxiety of the Hobart team has been shown since quarter time, and certainly the Wildcats have picked up the mark. That's going to be a travel. Picked up his pivot foot, and the tentative nature that was in the Wildcats going throughout the first quarter has been transmitted. So you can watch this. Watch the pivot foot come up, the change of pivot foot, and you can't lift your pivot foot from the ground once you've established it until the ball leaves your hand, and McDaniel's tried to get that advantage by doing just that. Got a foul on Spaldinas. Blahoff will go to the line again.
Well, a quarter time, Perth trailed by 15. It was 31 to 16. So far in the second term, the Devils have managed just 6 points as we see the foul and replay. And at the same time, Perth have managed 21. We've got a timeout with 7:45 left on the clock. It's Hobart and the Wildcats tied up at 37 apiece.
For Zoe, it's an emotional case of hit and run and a phony marriage under fire in LA Law. 9:30 Tuesday on Golden West Television.
For all you historians from the world's burgatoriums, you'll never taste the chicken fillet burger that's tasting this way.
I got the taste.
For chicken treats, chicken fillet burger.
I got the taste. I thank my taste buds that heard ya.
A real skinless chicken breast fillet, lots of fresh crisp lettuce, and chicken treat special sauce, all in a sesame seed bun.
I got the taste for chicken treats, chicken fillet burger.
I got the taste.
There are times when the best cold drink in the house isn't alcohol. It isn't sweet and fizzy. It's ice cold WA milk. Now with 4 kinds to choose from, there's no excuse not to enjoy the health benefits of WA milk every single day. Natural, nutritious, and nothing artificial. Pure, fresh WA milk.
Have you had it today?
So tied up at 37 apiece. We've got Andrew Blahoff going to the line. And Blahoff is perfect so far, 6 from 6. And he can send the Cats to the lead for the first time tonight.
If you look at the line through the foul shooting of the Wildcats, Crawford's 1 from 1, Hinchin 5 from 5, Grace 5 from 7, Blahoff 6 from 6, Hanson 2 from 2.
Okay, Tim Gossage was in the huddles. Tim, obviously it was a concern. Cal Bruton.
Yes, Cal Bruton said the team has worked too hard to just throw it all away in a couple of minutes. And did you know he's sporting 2 very loose front teeth, compliments of a tough game last night in Adelaide. As far as Murray Arnold was concerned, he said sustained pressure has got them back in the game, and he said they've got to keep up the tempo.
So, Perth in front for the first time tonight. Close, radar close, no good from out in 3-point territory. The Wildcats up by 2, 39 to 37. Big pass to Crawford baseline, and there's another foul in there.
Well, that was all created by a quick outlet. James Crawford was away on the break, and the running game really is leaving Hobart with a lot of questions in their mind. Crawford should never have been fouled in that situation. There's no way in the world David Close can block that shot. All it does is send Crawford to the foul line, and there's a long time to go before half-time. Clock is stopped, obviously. Crawford on the foul line, picks up another 2 if he's successful with this. will bring his scoreline to 11. Let's see if we can watch him. Watch the action. Sucks in the breath. Off the fingertips. Gets a little friendly roll. Brings up his 11th point, and the Wildcats 41 now lead Hobart 37.
23 of those 41 points have come from the foul line. Cats up by 4. Just over 7 minutes left in the half. Close goes to Valdennis, who's been quiet in this quarter. Where will he go? Went for the bounce pass to McDaniel. But obviously the Wildcats were the last to touch that because Hobart get it back from the side.
One wonders what Cal Bruton can do right now. He's outgunned, outmanned, had a mighty first quarter, did Hobart. Now they've got to regroup. We'll find out what they're made of.
Right side from downtown, no good, and Crawford, what a powerful rebound that was.
That was the difference in the first quarter. They were making those shots. They were shooting 48%.
Here's Grace, goes back out to Crawford. Lahoff thought about the shot from three-point territory. This is Grace. He fires for 3. Great hit that by Ricky Grace.
Well, it's a game of momentum. Earlier when the Wildcats were tentative, they couldn't throw a rock in the ocean. Now they've equalled the shooting percentage. They're 42%. And Hobart are down to 33, 42 it is. They're all tied up on shooting percentages.
And the Devils have drawn a foul. 7-point spread. Here's the replay.
Well, Hinchin lost control. Good fake there by Close. Hobart will get the ball from the sideline. David Stiff comes in for his first entry to the game. 2 weeks from now, he takes off for the adventure of a lifetime at an American college at Boston to further his basketball career. Bruton's out there. He's after it. You've got to admire the man's effort. He's not happy with the call. Lahoff picks him up.
Oh, he kicked like he was trapped under a truck then, Cal Bruton.
I think it was a Mack truck with Lahoff.
Hinchin baseline. Shot was good. And it's Perth up by 9, 46-37. John, let's have a look at these two teams. They've met twice this year. The Kmart Classic pre-season. Perth won the game on this court 105-86. A margin there of 19 points. That marked the comeback of Cal Bruton, who fires from the free throw line. No good. Hinchin comes away. And in week 2, as Hinchin looks to take it all the way, gets the friendly roll. If it didn't go in, it was flanked by Crawford and Hanson. But getting back to that game in Hobart, week 2 of the regular season, Perth defeated the Devils 118-102. Grace MVP that night with 33 points. McDaniel got 22 for Hobart. But really, you can't put a line with those games because the personnel of the Devils has changed fairly significantly.
Changed enormously, and of course the Wildcats have built and built and built all year to get a healthy team, and they're now playing much better than they were earlier in the season.
They're up by 11. Valdennis gets a much needed bucket.
That's the first basket for Hobart for something like 5 minutes. They have only scored 8 points since quarter time, whilst the Wildcats really have gone out and scored 32, and that's a mark of how the game can turn around, how the momentum swings.
It's been a very long quarter too, hasn't it? We've still got over 5 minutes left on the clock.
That's the danger side for Hobart, because the Wildcats are resurrecting their running game. Got this extended defence from Hobart now. See if we can pick that back.
That last bucket was their first score in over 2.5 minutes. Here's Hinchin starting to find his range. Couldn't get the follow to go. It comes back to Watterson. And Watterson settles down the play. Grace calling the shots.
Hobart going to a zone now. I think that's a smart move because they've got to do something to change the tempo. May not bridge the gap, but they do have to change the tempo and send the Wildcats to the outside. See if there's something different they can do. Is that Bruton's third?
I think it is. Obviously, he hasn't given the player landing with the ball the sufficient room.
Well, I think that you're quite right, because what has happened is that Hanson's in the air. Boy, there's not a lot. There's not really a lot. I think Cal Bruton's quite right. What on earth could he have done? Except he's been run over by another Mack truck, and I think this Mack truck's bigger than the first one.
He's got a couple of loose teeth. He copped a heavy blow in that game against Adelaide last night. So in the wars as the season winds down, and of course the hopes of the Devils of making the playoffs has evaporated now. They've lost 3 on a trot going into this game. After the Olympic break, they looked okay for a while. I think 7 and 9, well and truly in the hunt, but they've lost those 3 games and basically they're out of play.
They had a chance, and they've been a most unsettled franchise over recent years. They're looking for instant success. They've got to build a program. Where did this come off? Referee saw the off a Wildcat. Bruton with the ball now. Right hand dribble on Watterson. Spins again. Dishes the ball to Spaldinas. Unsuccessful. Hinchin versus Crawford. Grace got it. He was out of court, but he delivered the ball back in before he landed out of court. Wildcats retained possession.
The Cats up by 11. Big turnaround in the second term. This is Grace baseline. What a drive. Gave it to Crawford. Crawford, the jumper in, then out. Hanson the rebound. And I think the basket doesn't count. I think the call's against Valdenis.
Valdenis is not happy with it. Let's watch for the signal from Cliff Brett. Shane Froling. It's called Shane Froling for the call. Shane Froling, that's his 4th foul. Of course, he's only allowed 6. And if you look at the foul situation of the team on the floor at the moment for Hobart, Froling has 4. Spaldinas 1, Whiteside 2, Bruton 3. 50 plays 39, just under 4 minutes before half-time.
Whiteside, who's been quiet after a very good start off the ball. We've got a block, that time called against Valdenis.
That is the 15th foul on Hobart since quarter time, 15-1. Now, I'm not suggesting for a minute that they've been hard done by in each or any of those situations. Certainly some of them have been contentious. But boy, that's a heavy load to carry, 15-1, particularly when you remember that after the 4th, the opponents, that's the Wildcats, go to the foul line for a one-on-one situation.
Grace left open for 3, no good, and Bruton the rebound. Well, let's go through it, John. We've got Froling with 4, Hurst has 4, and Bruton 3, so that could well be a lot of trouble late in the game if this pattern continues. Lahoff on the break. Gives it to Carroll, the rookie. Baseline jumper is good, and he's starting to make his mark in this competition.
Kid can shoot and is getting a little more confident, and of course this game is ideally suited for Arnold to try some of these guys and build on that confidence. 52 plays 39, a long time to go before half-time. He's been able to get some of his younger players in early. He's certainly got over that foul situation that was worrying him in the first quarter.
Whiteside working against Watterson. Shot is short. Valdenis. No, it's Froling who keeps it alive. Whiteside left open for 3. In and out. And Hanson the rebound. And they slapped it away from him.
Valdenis, it'll come up with the fouls. Valdenis is not happy. He's remonstrating, saying he made all ball. That will send them all the way down the court. Andrew Spaldinas, he comes up with what will be his 3rd foul. Adds to their woes. You can see the reaching in. There's no doubt that Spaldinas made contact with the ball, but he almost dislocated the arm at the same time. And that's why the foul is called. Hanson goes to the foul line. He only has 4 for the night. On the foul line, comes up successfully with his first. That gives him 5 out of 6. He'd be very happy with that. 83% Pete Hanson.
Well, this game has taken an amazing turnaround, hasn't it? The Cats, of course, coming down from, 15-16 down that first quarter. Well, they lead now by 15 themselves. So, got a 30-point turnaround in the space of 10-12 minutes of basketball.
Well, about 10 minutes, you're quite right. That'll be on Carroll, reaching across the top. That's the 2nd team foul for the Wildcats. And, of course, that'll get the Hobart team from the side. Or was he in the act of shooting? It should be from the side. You can see the foul coming in there from Carroll. Lahoff and Davis are now given the job of controlling the backboards as Steve Davis replaces Peter Hanson.
Hanson with 3 personals. Obviously, Arnold looking to protect him with 2.5 minutes left in the half. Bruton, because Valdenis, who's been in very good form tonight with 8 points. Froling, which way? Whiteside, left open by Grace. Whiteside, where will he go? Hasn't got much room to move. Froling looking to outmuscle the rookie Carroll. Gets the roll.
And he gets the bucket. He'll go to the foul line. Carroll caught just a little bit there. Froling took him to the hoop on the right-hand side. Carroll didn't get across quickly enough. That's his 2nd foul, Chris Carroll. 54 to the Wildcats, 41 to Hobart. There it is in replay. Off the backboard and goes in. He's happy. Happier now.
since the Olympic break, John. The Devils have lost to Magic, only by 5 points. A pretty good performance that. Went down to Sydney last weekend by 14. Good bucket that by Davis. And then last night they lost to Adelaide by 16. 7-9 before the Olympic break. Going into this game 7-12 and out of play.
Have had an absolutely abysmal record on the road.
Yeah, 1-7.
Yep. And this looks like being worse. So you've got to say that there's a nice transition play. Whenever the Wildcats start to string 3 or 4 passes together, they're going to hurt the opposition. 58-45. And remember, the Wildcats only scored 16 at quarter time.
The 42-point quarter, and there's time left. Blahoff was scoreless at the first change. He's got 12 now. Frolling in and out, no luck. Working hard, David Stiff, and David Stiff gets the bucket for 2.
Good effort by the young man there to get the offensive rebound and get back in. Good contest here with Whiteside and Grace, but I think Grace is going to have a lot more help than Whiteside's had.
You saw Whiteside in an SBL game. I think you mentioned to me once you're very impressed with him.
I was impressed with him. He's very quick. He's playing in a big man's game. He's got good vision and a much better three-point shooter than what people give him credit for. He was averaging something like 30 points a match in our state basketball league, which gives you some indication of the difference from standard in the two leagues. And Whiteside has gone on probably to play with better people, and he's averaging about 18.
The Cats up by 11 inside the final minute of the first half. 58 plays, 47. Whiteside thought about the shot. It's working against Watterson. Shot clock inside 10. Here's Bruton. Nice hit that.
Just inside the three-point line. Nice touch by Bruton. A characteristic little jump at the end of the shot. Comes up with his first points for the match. Wildcats still lead 58-49.
We've got the shot clock and the game clock in near sync. It's out by a second or two. And Grace, aware of the situation, looking to milk it down and give the Devils just a second or two to get the ball back into play. Shot clock inside 10 now. Watterson has it. Where will he go? Blahoff looks to set the screen. He dishes off to Davis, and a great shot by Davis from the baseline. And that should just about wrap up proceedings in the first half. Whiteside lets fire for a prayer, but no good. It's half-time at the Entertainment Centre. A big second quarter by Perth. They lead at the half by 11, 60-49.
Sunday night,
the Red October,
proudly presented by Toyota.
Captain's name is Ramius.
A great day, comrades.
What have you stores?
It's like a jet engine for the water.
The hunt
Engage the silent drive.
is on.
Our own fleet doesn't know our full potential.
Sean Connery,
We sail into history.
Alec Baldwin,
Ramius might be trying to detect.
You're just an analyst. What can you possibly know what goes on in this mine?
I know Ramius.
and Sam Neill in Sunday's movie blockbuster, The Hunt for Red October on Golden West Television.
Crawford, 2. Good ball to Hansen across to Blahoff with as much time as you like. Good shot. Face with a quick break for Crawford.
The Federation of Australian Commercial Television Stations has issued draft industry codes for public comment. These codes will replace most of the current Australian Broadcasting Tribunal television standards. If you would like to see these draft codes, please write to Facts at the address shown on your screen. If you wish to make any written comments on the draft codes, please send them to Facts at the same address. The deadline for written comments is Monday the 21st of September.
Give the power of Ryobi this Father's Day. And pay less for this 10mm variable speed drill with 15 bits and accessories. All this 100mm angle grinder with goggles and sanding kit, each in a case from around $99. Pay less for this 184mm circular saw. All this random orbit sander, complete with accessories, each in a case from around $149. This Father's Day, give the power of Ryobi and pay less for power gift packs. Ryobi.
I got the power!
Year in and year out, one West Australian company has been building quality and strength from the ground up. That company is Highline, the trusted name in strength, reliability and value. Choose from Highline's huge range of garden and industrial sheds, garages and workshops, or let us tailor-make to suit your needs. When it comes to strong, dependable garages, patios and sheds, Highline has everything that opens
and shuts.
Could your toothbrush stand up to a dental examination? If it has a spoon-shaped handle and well-rounded bristles to protect gums, it rates pretty high. A specially shaped diamond head to get to back teeth? Even higher. But if it comes from Colgate, the company that's prevented more cavities than any other, it outscores the lot. The diamond head from Colgate. Why settle for a B?
And a full house at the Entertainment Centre. It's half-time in Perth with a powerful second quarter lead at the main break, 60-49. The margin 11 points, and what a turnaround that was, John.
Well, it's a turnaround of magnificent proportions for the Wildcats. Not so good if you look at Hobart. They really lost the plot, and it was very, very difficult for them to get back into the game.
A lot of foul trouble. I mean, that was an excessive number of fouls, really. What, they've got 22 to half-time.
Yep, and I think that they're going to find it very, very difficult when we look at some of the first half highlights to really get back to the form that you saw them displaying, Hobart, that is, with that early tip-in by Hurst. They're going to struggle now because they don't have a lot of options. They will find it difficult to come back. Well, there's Cal Bruton and Andrew Blahoff. And Bruton hasn't had a happy return to the Perth Entertainment Centre, which has been the site of some of his greatest victories. But that little transition game in picture there was the thing that really hurt the Hobart team. And if you look at it quarter by quarter, that clearly demonstrates the enormous turnaround.
Yeah, 44 points by Perth in the second term. The Devils managing just 18. 60-49, Perth up by 11 at the main break. Let's have a look at the match stats then.
Well, if we go through these, I think that the score we're aware of, the field shooting percentage to the Wildcats at 47 is so much better than what they had at quarter time, which was 26. And at 26, you've got to be very, very worried. They've turned that around. The rebound count, 18-23 in favour of the Devils. The turnovers have been great. And if we look back into our little bag, that's the equal second highest points in a quarter, 44. Highest was 50 against Newcastle in 1987. So the Wildcats are certainly back to their best points production.
And they've got 27 of those, 60 points from the free throw line. Let's have a look at the game's leading scorers. Ricky Grace with 14, winning the points over Whiteside. Blahoff was scoreless at the first change. A better second quarter by him, John. At the half, he's got 12. Crawford in double figures as well. Hinchin and Hansen amongst the points. As for the Devils, Froling leads theirs with Whiteside and Val Dennis McDaniel 9 and Hurst 5. So the Wildcats up by 11 then at the half, 60-49. Now, John, I know you know a little bit about this program. This is our halftime feature for tonight. Tonight we look at a new radio program. It's called Basketball World. You were a guest on that in the first week.
Brad Chechen's doing a great job.
Yeah, it can be heard each and every Sunday on radio station 6PR from 6 to 7 p.m. The program covers basketball at all levels.
For many years, basketball in WA has enjoyed a good relationship with the media. Now Radio 6PR has followed its press and television cousins to present the Basketball World at 6 o'clock on Sunday evenings. The hour-long program is the brainchild of former Wildcat Brad Chechens.
The purpose of the Basketball World is to provide information and access to enhance what's already happening with the other arms of the media, so that the people have a chance to talk to some of the players, and we're giving an up-to-date, qualified and creditable source of information.
Each Sunday night, Brad is joined by Wildcat skipper Mike Ellis.
Oh, I think it's great. It's a great concept, and I think it's something that people need to know it's on, because the information you can get out of it is fantastic. It doesn't just cover the NBL, it covers the SBL, the women's NBL, and a whole host of things.
Race Breakers captain Michelle Timms completes the trio of presenters. Michelle Timms.
The basketball show is great. It's been a great initiative by Brad Chechens and 6PR. It's great for basketball in particular. It's great for women's basketball. It's something that it's a good shot in the arm for women's basketball, getting this sort of promotion.
Listeners' talk back and reports from Eastern States correspondents are also a feature of the Basketball World.
Dean Templeton, who's a Channel 10 commentator, has played for Australia and coached at the NBL level. Wayne Carroll's a dual Olympian. So there's lots of credibility, and the people generally who are contributing have a very knowledgeable and extensive background in basketball.
Yes, Brad's got a good face for radio. Michelle Timms should equip herself well on TV, though.
No, it's a great show with Brad Chetchens. He's tried hard and long, and he's certainly had success, and he deserves success. And it's a good, informative program, not only for the upper profile of the NBL, but for the whole state.
OK, now to our Conacher Health and Fitness segment. This week, the Sydney Kings' Tim Morrissey takes us through a few tips on fitness and health.
Health and Fitness, brought to you by Conacher.
Steps to ensure injury prevention is necessary for basketballers at all levels. And to achieve this, one essential component is maintaining a proper stretching routine. Warming up and stretching before you train or play reduces the chances of straining or tearing a muscle or ligament. Begin your stretching by concentrating on the larger muscle groups. For example, the hamstrings, quadriceps, hip flexors and calf muscles are very important. But don't forget to also concentrate on your lower back and shoulders. When working on injury prevention, make sure you always warm down. For further advice, see your sports doctor or physiotherapist.
Shoot it on Conacher film.
Sunday on 60 Minutes.
So we're crossing the front line. Yes, hopefully it'll be quiet.
Richard Carlton.
You were shelling me?
In the thick of it.
Out of here.
As Yugoslavia tears itself apart. Also, Australia's hottest new star.
They sort of said, Paul, we're going to make you a star.
The sonning of Paul Mercurio.
He looks sexy.
And the private life.
You betcha.
They tried to hide.
Made it seem like he didn't have a wife and a family.
Mitsubishi presents 60 Minutes Sunday.
What you gonna do, what you gonna do, yeah. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, woo. What you gonna do, what you gonna do, what you gonna do when you win lotto, oh, oh. What you gonna do with your lotto life, oh, oh. What you gonna do when you win lotto, oh, oh. What you gonna do with your lotto life, what you gonna do, what you gonna do, oh, oh. Oh, for the lotto life.
Listen, is that Karen's photo in the family room?
Yep.
Can't believe it.
Year 11 now.
No.
All she can think about is sport.
Year 11. Our Tony's due to start next year. Yeah, it's going to be a struggle.
Tell me about it.
When we found out about the fees, I just don't know how we'll do it.
Know what you mean, but we've always dealt with this agent from National Mutual, a real cluey lady. She put us onto an education savings plan, CPI linked. We haven't had to worry about school fees, a real burden off our minds.
Yeah? When did your National Mutual agent suggest that?
Oh, when Karen was just a kid.
This agent, how did she know what you'd need for Karen's schooling way back then?
She asked.
National Mutual, for the most important person in the world.
There's one undoubted winner in the tyre game. They've got the power. Tyre Power buying power. And they're thrashing the opposition on new tyre prices. Tyre Power have slammed down prices on brand new imported radials to just $49. And Century batteries are way down in price. Their winning plays the opposition just can't match. If you want imported radials at $49, get on the fast break to your nearest Tyre Power store now. Tyre Power, that's powerful stuff.
Follow the Wildflower Trail to sensational sandstone. This charming township is alive with history. And the locals are so friendly, you'll be a stranger only once in Sandstone. There's everything a weary traveller needs, so why not discover Sandstone soon?
The Cats up by 11 at the main break, 60-49, a big second quarter. As we mentioned, Perth scored 44 points in that second term. Well, viewers have just 6 days to send their entries into the Mitsubishi Slam Dunk competition for the month of August. Some great prizes are up for the taking. Here's a look at the finalists.
It's the Mitsubishi Slam Dunk Competition, a chance for you to win some great prizes. It's easy. Simply place the following dunks in the order you think our expert judges will, and you could win this fantastic infrared remote control Mitsubishi MIDI hi-fi sound system. And at the end of the season, you could be in the running to win this fabulous Mitsubishi SE Magna Wagon. The first dunk is Steve Hood from the Cannons versus 36ers match, all the way and slam. Dunk B is Scott Nittis in the Magic and Giants clash. Now that's style, Scotty. Our next dunk, Dunk C, stars Andre Moore in the match between the Brisbane Bullets and the Canberra Cannons. Nice pass, Leroy. And finally, Dunk D is the Kings D-trained Dwayne McLean from the Kings versus Hawks showdown. No time to rest, Dwayne. On the back of an envelope, place the dunks in the order you think our judges will, and send your entry to the Mitsubishi Slam Dunk Competition, Post Office Box 24, Broadway 2007. Entries close Friday the 4th of September. It's your chance to be a winner. Just be part of 10's basketball action here on Network 10.
Fantastic competition, Murray Arnold. A very slow start by the boys tonight, but a fantastic second quarter. Why the turnaround?
Well, it's hard to tell. Obviously, we played a lot harder and a lot better the second quarter, particularly defensively with our effort. We got a long way to go. Obviously, we were down 15 at the quarter. Now we're up 11. They could catch us very easily the third if we don't play very well. So we have to try to make the third quarter like the second quarter, not like the first.
Well, it's almost about to start, so on your way. Thanks for your time again. Murray Arnold, very confident. Kel Bruton said it's time for his team to regroup, Peter.
Right, thanks very much, Tim. Well, we had a look at the Mitsubishi Slam Dunk competition. There's another great prize on offer in another competition. This is the Magic Pack competition.
Magic Johnson and the Dream Team took home Olympic gold and a piece of history. Now Network 10 gives you a chance to take home a piece of that history. You can win this Magic Johnson Dream Pack, consisting of Magic's number 15 USA Dream Team singlet and shorts, plus Dream Team cap and a personally autographed Magic Johnson basketball. For your chance to win this fantastic prize, call the Magic Pack hotline, 0055 60550, and answer this simple question. What is Magic Johnson's Dream Team number? Register now. Just dial 0055 60550, and you could win this once-in-a-lifetime Magic Johnson pack.
Well, two other matches played tonight in week 18 of the NBL. Let's check the results if we got them. Gold Coast and Canberra, and a good weekend for the Cannons, winning 2 on the road, 95-92. And in the game of the round, the Sydney Kings, John, have got home over the Giants by just a solitary point, 114-113.
That's a big comeback from the Giants when you consider they were rolled last night at Illawarra, but the Cardiac Kings have done it again.
Okay, and there's one game to be played next Monday to complete week 18. Now, don't forget Basketball Extra each and every Saturday at 12 o'clock. The sports show on Thursday nights at 11 o'clock, hosted by Mike Gibson and Eddie Maguire. Plenty of sport on Channel 10. And don't forget this new basketball magazine, One on One, the September issue, on sale at newsagents now. Plenty of good feature articles, and Ricky Grace writes his column Coast to Coast.
Great magazine.
Well, okay, let's go to Tim Gossage then, courtside. And Tim, what have you got to report?
Peter, a bad blow for the Hobart Devils. Wayne McDaniel has a very badly swollen left ankle. He did fall early in that first half, and he's in all sorts of pain. I'm having a look at it now. It's swollen. He's taken his boot off, and I would like to say that he's not going to take too much part in the rest of this game.
That's a bad blow. McDaniel started the game so well too, and has 9 points to half-time as the second half resumes, and Perth with first use of the ball in the second half. They lead by 11, 60-49.
Critical time here, Peter. What's that, an offensive foul? I guess that's exactly the way Ray Hunt saw it. David Stiff with a good position against James Crawford. Critical time for Hobart here. They can either shore up their defence and be a little more purposeful in offence and retain possession for a little longer, or they can get blown away.
Whiteside has possession. There's Val Dennis, close, who's been scoreless so far tonight. He wouldn't appreciate this comeback to the Perth Entertainment Centre, where he collected 2 championship rings. Dishes off.
Not a happy return for either Cal Bruton or David Close. Nice strong move inside.
It's Val Dennis with 12 tonight. He's the Devils' leading scorer. It's 60-51, 9-point spread, and a good shot back by Vince Hincham.
There's a smooth rhythm of the Wildcats' outside shooting now that is ominous.
Lahoff with some good work. Oh, beautiful steal that by Whiteside.
Well, Whiteside's very good, and actually he rates up in there as the second best stealer in the NBL.
What do they say about that car hub?
Oh, that's another offensive. No, he's pinged Whiteside for stepping across. Good move by Grace. He went right. Whiteside was doing the right thing, as we can see on picture here, but he stepped in there and he was moving across into the path of Ricky Grace. Timeout called early in this game. Second half, barely a minute gone. 62 in favour of the Wildcats, 51 for Hobart. And Cal Bruton wants to talk about the problem.
As teams jostle for a position in the final six, it's a vital match for the West Coast Eagles and Carlton. See the action live from Subiaco Oval, 12 o'clock Sunday.
It's a fact. About half of our school children receive less than their required daily intake of calcium. In which half are your children? Pure, fresh WA milk. Have they had it today?
I've just made a list of all the things that need doing around the house. Funnily enough, it's also the family's list of ideas for Father's Day prezzies. Luckily, the Bunnings 10-day Father's Day sale is on now.
This 40-piece socket set is a great gift at $10.95. And what about this car care gift bucket for $12.95? This Ryobi cordless drill is just $85. 4-litre Dulux wash and wear, only $39.95. And this engraver is great value at $24.95. Bunnings, anything you need, anytime at all.
When you're really starving, grab some ice-cold milk, a slurp of syrup, a dollop of ice cream, whiz it up, and you've got a genuine Aussie milkshake. Pure, fresh WA milk. Have you had it today?
So back at the Entertainment Centre, an early timeout called with the Wildcats 62. The Devils 51. Cal Bruton looking despondent, isn't he?
Just a little despondent. He looked flat as he came into the stadium tonight. It's been a long, hard season from Cal Bruton. And I think some of the off-court situations are not helping the performance on-court.
Good jumper, that by Vlahoff. He's got 14 on the night now, Cat 64. Devils 51. 10.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Whiteside left open. Works his way around Grace through the traffic. Couldn't put it away. Val Dennis battling hard and Hinchin. The first to recover. Bounce past to Watterson, and Watto goes all the way with a layup.
Great vision there by Vince Hinchin. At every stage he was looking to dress somebody up for the layup. Watterson made the ground and he got the reward.
His first points for the night. Close, inside. Nice pump fake that by Val Dennis. Gets the bucket and will go to the line with the bonus.
I suspect it might be on Hinchin. He was certainly looking to help out. Sval Dennis has been the pick for Hobart. He's worked hard. Little pump fake ball. The Wildcats went up in the air, all flying. 2 points, gets the bonus.
14 so far tonight for Andrews Val Dennis, who was born in Lithuania.
At one stage was contemplating whether he should go back to Lithuania and try out. Oh, there's almost a steal there by Whiteside. Did well. But Sval Dennis was looking to go back and try out for the Lithuanian team for Barcelona. Didn't quite work out that way.
But that move between Grace and Vlahoff certainly did. We saw a bit of that against Brisbane last weekend.
Little give and go play here. Vlahoff coming down the middle. Very simple, basic move in what is primarily a basic game. Second chance, that's unforgivable. Vlahoff missed. And Bruton won't be happy with that. You can't allow a team to get the rebound off a missed foul shot.
After a scoreless first quarter, Vlahoff is the game's leading scorer with 16.
Come back with a vengeance, hasn't he? But there's an ominous spread of points there for the Wildcats with Watterson 2, Ellis 2, Crawford 11, Carroll 2. We've got Davis with 4, Hinchin 11, Grace 14 and Vlahoff 16.
Whiteside on the break. Reverse layup doesn't go for him, but the net surrounded by the Devils, and they followed in with a tap in. So it's 68 to 56 then. Cats up by 12. Watterson to Hinchin inside, low post to Vlahoff. Look away pass. Hinchin nearly slipped. Val Dennis got a hand in there.
To it. A little more resolve now from Hobart. This is the sort of defensive effort they were making in the first quarter. They've come back and they're prepared to really put the question to the Wildcats here. Very critical part of the game.
Crawford, fadeaway jumper, all net. Blahoff hanging off the net.
Of course, hanging off the net to avoid the contact underneath. They're very dangerous when the players are in the air, and they are allowed, if they fear coming down on somebody else's foot, to hang on that ring. If they simply hang there for hanging's sake, they'll get hit with a tech foul.
14-point spread. David Stiff off to the University of Chicago. Tries to hook it in, but good follow work by Shane Frolling.
So still a good contest out here with Whiteside and Grace. Two very professional ball players. Grace has the edge in height. He doesn't often get that. Crawford really starting to work since half time. He's going to work inside the paint with those turnaround moves. It's a foul on Grace. His second. Wildcats third. Close with the ball. Watterson, little pull-up jumper for David Close. That's the first for him. 72 plays 60, still a 12-point margin. Grayson Whiteside, you can't let Ricky Grace go left. Blahoff with the rebound, finds Crawford. Hinchin outside, pump fake, pulls up for the jumper about the foul line, misses it.
Val Dennis having a very good game, 15 points and 10 rebounds now. Whiteside brings it down. Inside 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Perth up by 12, close. Working against a former teammate, Watterson. Val Dennis ran into a brick wall in the form of Blahoff, and how did they see that, John?
Well, they called it on Blahoff. Blahoff's not happy, but not very many players are happy when they get a foul. They tend to disagree, the referees. His third. Eric Watterson sits down. Pete Hansen comes in, so the Wildcats have gone big. They've got their front line out there, and that makes it difficult. Let's see if they're a little concerned about the second shots that Hobart are getting.
Close. Still, in fact, he's got 2 points now. Bounce pass to Val Dennis. David Stiff for the keyway. No good. Blahoff.
You're going to say it sooner or later, aren't you?
No.
You'll say he was stiff, aren't you?
I think we said that last time he was here. I was about to say Blahoff putting his stamp on this game now. 16 points and 9 rebounds after a quiet start. He's got the ball now in the face of Frolling. Hinchin out to the wing, and Grace trying to brush off Whiteside. What a nice move that was from the champ.
He went left, came back with his right hand, put it off the window for 2 points. There's a little contest that we've talked about, and they're not going to let up. Well, there's a better effort from Valdenis. There was contact there. Grace took a dive. Good non-call from Cliff Brett. Referee playing the baseline refereeing position at that stage. You've got the time to go, just under 7 minutes, 74 to 62 in favour of the Wildcats. A little hiatus in scoring here. The Hobart team have been able to arrest that landslide that was coming their way. If they can score this time down, that's going to help. No, David Close comes up empty-handed. There's that frustration situation again. It happens so often, particularly with younger players. Cal Bruton, as well he may, is just rubbing the eyebrow on the furrowed brow. I don't know that he can do an awful lot from here, Peter.
I just feel a bit for David Close coming back onto his home court tonight, obviously with plenty to play. He had his troubles off-season, went to Magic, or at least at that time it was the South East Melbourne team, and they joined up with St Kilda, lost his spot there, went to Hobart, as we see Crawford. I think the bucket won't count, will it?
I think it's been called offensive. Offensive on the drive. Let's see if we can pick it up. Oh, well, the referee, Cliff Brett's in the ideal position. You can see the lateral contact. The key to it is whether Crawford was moving into the path and whether the defender got there first, and just who initiated the contact.
If I can indulge just a moment, John, with David Close, getting back to Close, you know, I feel a bit for David tonight, just a 21-year-old. I think as the season's progressed, he's got better with Hobart, but certainly not having the impact on the league as some would expect.
Well, it's tough to leave a championship program where you've picked up at a very early age 2 championship rings. There is absolute dedication. And he's hurt himself, and they're going to get him out. He's hurt the hip, and he may pay the price for dedication. It should just be a graze. Blahoff being taken away on the sub. We've got a timeout called here as well, so it's all happening as Blahoff sits down. So a timeout is called. Wildcats lead 76 over the Devils 62. We've got just under 6 minutes before three-quarter time.
As teams jostle for a position in the final 6, it's a vital match for the West Coast Eagles and Carlton. See the action live from Subiaco Oval, 12 o'clock Sunday.
For all you historians from the world's burgatoriums, you'll never taste the chicken fillet burger that's tasting this way.
I got the taste.
For chicken treats, chicken fillet burger.
I got the taste. I thank my taste buds have heard ya.
A real skinless chicken breast fillet, lots of fresh crisp lettuce, and chicken treat special sauce, all in a sesame seed bun.
I got the taste. For chicken treats, chicken fillet burger.
I got the taste.
Caterpillar's agricultural tractor has many unique advantages. The rubber track system offers greater traction and less ground compaction than the traditional wheeled tractor. Less slip means better fuel economy. Also, lower ground pressure and narrower footprint means less soil damage and a greater crop yield. As comfortable as a wheel tractor and licensable for on-road use, the future of agricultural tractors is clear. Cats Challenger Series. Get them working for you.
The Cats up by 14. Let's go to Tim Gossage for a medical update on the Wildcat star Andrew Vlahoff.
Well, just from hitting the floor, he suffered a bit of a bump on the right hip. He's got a frown on his face, but I don't think it's from the hip. He just put some ice down his shorts, so I don't think he's very comfortable.
Close from long range. Well, there's a certain lady out there be very interested in the welfare of Andrew Vlahoff. She knows who she is. This is Ricky Grace out to the wing, and Hansen hasn't seen a lot of court time, got into early foul trouble. Grace, in the face of Whiteside, has done a manful job against the odds.
Working hard on Ricky Grace. Long lead pass. Crawford manages to do a little better with what was a poor pass. Little contact there from Whiteside. Crawford's not happy. Whiteside got away with it, and he's not going to worry about getting away with it. He's going to take it down. Crawford still complaining. Whiteside setting up the action here, looking for the structured offense. Grace watching closely. Froling posting up with Davis behind. Close comes around, pumps the shot, goes through off the left. Still anybody's ball. Froling working hard, and Davis comes away with a defensive board.
And Close, John can't buy a bucket as Vlahoff continues to limber up on the Wildcats bench. Crawford gets the handle on it and banks it off the glass for 2. So James Crawford now takes the mantle as the game's high scorer with 17. He shares that with Val Dennis, and the Cats lead by 16, 78-62. 4.5 minutes, Close for 3, came up short, no good. Will he get another chance? No, beaten to the ball by Hinchin, and he draws the foul. And what's that with David Close? That's his 4th now, John. So he joins 3 other Devils, Hurst, Froling and Valdenis, who will have 4.
And I suspect on 4 occasions it's been frustration. David Close, and you've got to feel for the young man. On this court, he has posted so many marvellous outside shooting situations. Certainly not able to do it tonight. He's resurrecting what is a career, and if we return to what we were talking about earlier, he's trying desperately to establish a career with the guy, Cal Bruton, that is, that recruited him first to the Wildcats program.
We're underway. Inside the 4.5 minute mark. Third term Cats up by 16. 78-62. What was that mid-court? Whiteside
just about picked Ricky Grace's pocket. Grace was a little complacent. You can't do that with the calibre of Whiteside out there. That'll be on Froling. Good defence by Froling. Really had nowhere to go. But by the same token, Hansen made the most of it, and that's Shane Froling's 5, and he only has 1 more to give. Let's see if we can watch this on replay. Never in position, Froling. While ever Hansen continued that momentum towards the basket, Froling had to give up the foul.
Hansen reaching the half-century mark in the NBL. That's his 2nd season. Of course, he won the league's MVP in the Grand Final Series last year. Great debut season.
Yeah, great night for Pete Hansen. 50th game. His family's here tonight. His mother just had an anniversary that coincides with that 50th match from Hansen, and they'll be very pleased to see the Wildcats take this one out if that's what happens.
Whiteside baseline over Hansen, no good. Stiff got it out, but only as far as Hinchin. Grace to his left. Grace looking to go all the way. He's fouled crudely.
Yeah, a little unnecessary, that foul. Always beaten for pace as Grace went through. There are the folks alongside the owner Kerry Stokes, Dr. Peter and Mary Lou Hanson, all the way from Wisconsin, Milwaukee, watching their son playing his 50th NBL game.
So Grace took a tumble. Grace's figures from the line, 71% tonight. He's got 5 from 7. He's hit 16 points. And he's okay after taking that heavy tumble. A very interrupted season, as we mentioned. Now he's trying to mention something here to the referees. What's he saying?
I think he's assuming that the bucket went in. It did not go in. So he's got 2. Takes his time.
Looks to have just about got back to 100% now with those ankles.
I think the best part of the Wildcats' last couple of games is that they must have been very worried about his recovery. He's recovered. There is no evidence of sustained injury, and they need him to be very, very fit going towards the playoffs, because he does carry the ball and he does get to mark the defender that is most difficult in the back court for the opposition.
So it's 81-62 then. 19-point spread. Cats in control. Strong rebound, that Hanson. That's his trademark. He likes to work in the trenches. Blahoff pulls up, working against Bruton. Ellis back on now. Cats have Ellis. This man, Grace, who fires from the corner. That was for a triple.
Oh, Ricky Grace, 21 points.
Just going to that 5 out there. Ellis, Hanson, Blahoff, Grace and Hinchin. Cats well and truly in control. This is Stewart, a renowned outside shooter.
Nice smooth shot as he went to the left. We were right in line. Never looked like missing better.
Well, against Sydney last weekend, he got 5 from 6 from outside the three-point arc. Stewart, so he can shoot from a distance.
Cass comes up with his foul, which would be his 3rd. That's the 7th team foul for Hobart against 5 of the Wildcats. Scoreline's 84-65. You can see Cass coming from behind. Ricky Grace sits down, applauded, 21 points. At 60%. 7 from 9 from the foul line. 7 assists.
When you talk about a sweet shooter, you really do get one when Hinchin goes to the line. He's just got that perfect arc, hasn't he?
It's the rhythm. If we can pick it up again with the front shot, nice forward action, follows through, and we put them off straight away.
The trick, always does the trick. Hinchin
fixed him right up.
Shooting as well from outside. He's got 4 from 12 from the field, shooting just 33%. Was in the 60s against the Bullets. Last weekend he's got 14 points, and Ellis has got the ball. Mike Ellis with 2 points tonight. Gives it to Watterson.
Hobart in the zone, 2-3 zone, finds Hinchin on the left. Nice dish inside to Blahoff. As he fades, put that down to Vince Hinchin. We saw Blahoff posting up near the short corner and got the ball to him.
A bullet, no look pass from Hinchin. Great assist that. Bruton up against Mike Ellis. There's a story there.
There sure is. Not enough time to go into it in this telecast, though.
Bruton working against Ellis, went to dish it off, and they've lost the ball. Hanson on the dribble, the big man, lays off to Hinchin. Hinchin in the key way. Nice turning jumper that.
Very athletic. Put the ball one way, came back into the key. Good work by Hanson. 89 to the Wildcats, 65 to Hobart. Just over 2 minutes before three-quarter time as Hurst gets the lead pass. Foul in there. Ellis is clutching the support. Hurst is going to go to the foul line anyway.
Joe Hurst started like a house on fire, didn't he, tonight?
He sure did. Certainly had that spring in his foot, but not so well in the latter part of the game. Hinchin has 16. He sits down, has a rest. Chris Carroll back in for the Wildcats. Joe Hurst on the foul line.
Arkansas, USA, as John mentioned earlier on, league's MVP way back in 1988. And well, we had Rucker a couple of years ago. They do take a cycle, don't they, basketballers?
Sure. And as the league gets better, these guys have to give place sometimes to people that are recruited for different reasons. That's part of the recruitment program. That's why there's a limit of only 2 recruits on each club to make sure the league does improve.
Ellis has it, far side. Back to the top, the rookie, Chris Carroll on now with Watterson, the Cats going with 3 small men. Just the 2 big men. This is Carroll from the corner. No good that time, slapped away by Cass. And the Cats will get the ball back from the side. So the Cats have 3 small men out there, Ellis, Watterson and Carroll, and their 2 big fellas are Hansen and Blahoff.
New shot clock. They've got 30 seconds. Will they go early or will they work it round and get a better shot? Running a little swinging action on the baseline with Carroll running across. Hansen posting up. Script of the ball. Is there hand contact? Seems to be 2 shots in the act of shooting.
Justin Cass, is it?
Yeah. Cass picks up what will be his 4th. Boy, he's rattled them up fairly quickly for the 5 that's on the floor at the moment for Hobart. Hurst has 4, Bruton 3, Stewart 1 and Cass 4.
Well, they're going to be down on numbers, no question about that, because McDaniel, we believe, won't take any further part in the game. So you're down 1 there, and if you get 3 or 4 fouled out, they could be down to just 5 men at the end.
Yeah, it's a long way to go, and of course, they've still got games in their season to put together, and McDaniel won't be risked for the rest of this game. Did pick up that twisted ankle early, and obviously after half-time, it cooled down and made it worse.
Wildcats up by 22. Nice bounce pass from Watterson to Hansen, who couldn't put the shot away. Strong second effort. He lost the handle on it. Hurst came up with it, and it's Bruton who brings it down the floor. We've got 1.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. David Stiff. Where will he go? Hands off to Cass. This is Anthony Stewart in the face of Watterson. Shakes off Watterson. Controls the dribble. Pushed out of bounds. And the Wildcats force the turnover.
Might have been a little friendly bump there by Andrew Blahoff. Did it very subtly. Wildcats lead, 89 plays 67, almost a minute before 3/4 time. Carroll with the ball just in front of us, dishes it off to Hansen, give and go, gets it back, thank you very much, off the glass. Nice aggressive move there from Christopher Carroll. Good pass back from Hansen, and the Cats lead 91 to 67, building and building and building upon that half-time lead. Good controlled layup.
He continues to develop and improve, doesn't he? I mean, we've seen him from the very beginning of the season. Obviously, you've had a lot more to do with him than that. And he just got better as the years gone on.
Well, his future's in front of him. He's one of the players that will form the nucleus of Wildcat programs in 2 or 3 years' time. And they're building. What they like about him is the things he does in defence as well, not only the offence.
Blahoff trying to keep it alive, couldn't do so. And that's a Devils ball from the side. Cass to inbound. 91 plays 67. Wildcats well and truly in control. They're up by 24. We've got 50 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Stewart working against Watterson. They give it to Bruton, who scored just the 2 points so far tonight. Bruton one way, then the other. Gets through the traffic, puts up the shot. No good. Blahoff. Strong rebound. Chance for Ellis. He's got Hansen to his left. Dishes off, and Hansen off the glass gets the 2. Nice assist that from the skipper.
Little 2-on-1 play. Always had to be a good shot. 24 seconds before 3/4 time. Bruton finds Stiff. Cass, who's really struggled tonight. Back into Stiff. The post goes baseline, comes off the glass for a well-earned bucket. 11 seconds. Wildcats need to get it in bounds to get a shot up.
This is Cass from the line. They forced the turnover. Hobart get 2. It's 93-71. And with just a second to go, it's 3/4 time now at the Entertainment Centre. Perth lead it by 22 points. The long bomb no good. 93-71. We'll be back with more shortly.
In the hot August nights,
It's gonna be so good.
he was bewitched by her sensuality.
Carolyn Polhemus was murdered last night. It looks like she was raped.
He was in charge of the case.
There were 150 lawyers down there. They couldn't find one who didn't sleep with her.
He was presumed innocent.
You killed her.
Now he's the prime suspect.
You will go to trial.
Harrison Ford of Patriot Games.
How can you think that I could do a thing like that?
Greta Skanky and Brian Dennehy, presumed innocent, 8:35 Monday.
I've been racking my brains trying to think of a Father's Day present. I mean, what do you buy a man who always buys you toasters? So romantic. Luckily, the Bunnings Split Day Father's Day catalogue has heaps of ideas.
Quality FHP hand tools, pick any 2 for $9. This 13-piece screwdriver set is a gift at just $29.95. Hose hangers are great value at 2 for $5. Dulux spray packs 2 for $9. And this handy white pointer torch with bonus battery is an incredible $9.95. Bunnings, anything you need, anytime at all.
At Bunnings.
Why pay rent or be a slave to a mortgage you can't afford? With Bovell Homes' high-tech modular housing system, you can save thousands of dollars on your new home. Bovel's large low-cost designs are built from around $20,000, and even our biggest 6-bedroom home is less than $45,000. Come and see our colonial display home this weekend and discover the massive savings available to you. See page 3 of the Sunday Times Reader's Mart for display home details.
Australians have always known it. There's nothing tougher than hard yakka. Hard yakka.
There's a heat wave at the Colonel. We're cooking up something new.
Look what the Colonel's cooked up now. New Zinger Wings. Chicken wings with a bit of extra zing. And right now you get 5 new Zinger Wings plus chips for just $3.75. Or a Zinger Burger plus chips for just $3.75. Get in for your zingers. The heatwave can't last forever.
Today's KFC. I like it like that.
If you're an owner-builder, then you need expert advice and assistance, and that's exactly what you'll get from the crew at Metro Albany. They'll not only give you the right advice, but they supply steel mesh for sturdy foundations, precision door frames, durable steel wall studs, stylish Colorbond roofing and gutters right down to the meter box. If you want your new home to stand the test of time, then build it as tough as steel with Metro Albany. Because from the ground up, Metro really is the right way to go.
I ain't never satisfied.
And with a quarter to play, Perth lead by 22, 93-71 at the end of the third. Wildcats in front by 22. And here's Tim Gossage.
Thanks, Peter. Well, both camps are very quiet. I don't hate to say it, but I think they both believe this game is all over. 22 points the split. Cal Bruton left his charges to discuss how they're going to attack this last quarter. Murray Arnold fairly much the same. I had a dream last night, Peter, that Griff Longley played a very good game. He played a few minutes. I wonder if a dream will come true in this final quarter.
Well, let's hope so. I think he had about 3 seconds so far this year, and he still had a shower after that. But he deserves some time, doesn't he?
Clairvoyant Goss, huh?
He had a dream. I thought that actually, that's very dangerous if Goss dreams. He does enough of that at work. 93-71, Wildcats up by 22. And, well, let's assume that they do win this game and have a look further down the track, John. They are at home to Canberra next weekend. A pretty tough road trip after that. We talked about that pre-game. Giants and Magic game.
Big Melbourne double. Then they're back home, of course, to Newcastle, where they had that triple overtime situation, and then Brisbane to round off the regular season.
Assuming they win tonight, they go 10-9. What do you think they'll finish up?
Oh, I'm not Tim
You're the
Goss.
expert.
I can't have a dream about that. There are too many tight teams. I think they'll finish 5th.
About 5th. Okay. Carroll to send the Cats forward then as we start the final term. Perth up by 22. And it's Hanson who has the ball. He's got better as the game has got longer. Ellis to Carroll, so a chance now for Murray Arnold to play his bench. Carroll, little pump fake against another rookie in Stewart. This is Crawford. No good that time, and Bruton gathers the rebound. With the dribble, he brings it down. Cal Bruton, what a player he's been. 38 next month. Stewart to Cass, who's had little influence on this game. They go to Steph, and that was a big reject by Crawford, who's one of the leading blockers in the league.
Welcome to the Entertainment Centre, David Stiff. James Crawford won't allow too many of those. Ellis's foul, Bruton on the foul line, and of course you get a chance right now to see the shooting action created by that withholding of the shot of Cal Bruton, who with 92.4% is the leading foul shooting percentage thrower in the NBL, leading all players. And we've done it again. Fixed him right up.
49 from 53 before he went to the line then. He's now 49 from 54.
Oh dear.
On scoreless trip then. Well, who would have thought that was possible? A man in the 90s heading the lead. Still 93-71. That was the score at the start of the last quarter. 11:15 left in the game. Ellis, little fake, trying to shake off Stewart. He goes to Hanson. Hanson hands off back to the skipper. Getting some valuable minutes. A screen set by Hanson. Ellis, the bounce pass chopped off by Hurst. And the big fella brings it down, pulls up, hands off to Stewart. Stewart through the keyway, working against Hanson. The trailer was stiff, couldn't find the handle on it. Bruton does, gives it to Stewart, baseline, in and out, no luck for the Devils, but they get the ball back from the side.
David Stiff, we made mention of it earlier, he's heading for a career in the American college situation with Boston, and he's rebounding offensively and defensively extremely well right now.
Yeah, I do like him a bit as a player.
Yep, a lot of endeavour. He's a player with a future.
Ellis looking to go all the way, throws up the shot, gets the bucket, and he'll go to the line for the bonus. That's great to see. Ellis with 4 points now.
Been some good indicators for Mike Ellis in the last couple of games. Hasn't played a lot of minutes throughout this season. Has been pretty much in the wilderness. And in my view, they'll need Mike Ellis coming down to the line, the only captain that the Wildcats have had. And he is entering what he would hope to be his third successful championship program on end. 3 peats are hard, but Mike Ellis just loosening up a little bit in the last couple of games and playing with more confidence.
Wildcats out now by 23, 96-73. Bruton over Ellis. Shot was well short. Crawford got a fist on it. Chance for Ellis to keep it alive. Couldn't control it and crashes into the sideboard. Well, full marks for endeavour there.
Well, rugby league, he'd have been across for a score, but not in this game. Just couldn't get the legs to get the ball, drag it in.
Stewart bends off Grace. Stiff at the top, inside. Hurst working against Crawford. What great defence.